Good evening. This will be one of the more unusual posts of my trip. I'm making this post tonight, this video post, because I feel like a landmark has been made. I started my trip about 2.5 months ago from South Carolina, and experienced some really cool stuff up in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Illinois, and then drove across the Midwest and went through Iowa, which I'd never been through. I went through Kansas, which I have, and all the way to Arizona, all the way to California. Spent a month with my family, and it was pretty much the moment I arrived. There was at my at my mom's house. There was like chaos. Mom got put in the hospital. I won't tell you all the details for 4 days, and my dad and the sister and her husband and son all got COVID. So that was a scene, and I couldn't go see my dad because he was quarantined, and then and then oh, it was just one thing after the next. Anyway, it was good that I was there, and it was cool because I was able to kind of get back to my roots of just getting up in the morning, going to the beach and surfing. And I at first I tried to get home by 10 or 11, then 12, and then pretty soon, as long as I rolled in by 2, I guess that was okay. But got some really good surfing in, and there was remarkably good weather, so that was all really good. Then 2 weeks ago, I left. I came up the California coast, and it was just endlessly beautiful. I mean, I could not take my eyes off the just beauty. If I looked at the ocean, it was stunning. It was like falling into a waterfall of beauty. It was just amazing. If you turn around and look at the hills, beautiful. It really was. It's an amazing place if you go anywhere near Big Sur, the area between, like, where is that? Pismo Beach to Carmel. The whole thing is fantastic. Anyway, so I did that. I came and I saw some friends there, and I came across through Sacramento. Saw my sister. Saw another good friend, Chris. Hey, Chris the Dio, good guy, a longtime friend. Um, and so where I'm at tonight, I got a little note here, so I don't forget anything. Where I'm at tonight is in a very old hotel. I'll show you in a minute, in Amador City. Amador City is right in the middle of the gold country, and the reason why I wanted to make this kind of unusual video post is because I've been a history teacher for 36 years. Well, 33 years. 3 years prior, I was just a sub and did other things. But anyway, 33 years as a U.S. history teacher, and it was very important to me. My last year well, I didn't teach U.S. history last year, but my last year of teaching U.S. history, which was a couple years ago, I was as enthralled with it as I was when I started, as I was when I was in the fourth grade, and I came up here to the Gold Country, and I came here. It was a family vacation driving trip, but it's funny because I just saw my sister. She tended to kind of like not pay attention to any of the scenery, never looked out the window, that kind of thing, and kind of doesn't remember the trips. I was just like I am now. I'm looking at everything as I'm driving around. I concocted all these various daydreams about what it would be like to live in this area. And if you come through the Gold Country, which is there's one main highway, Highway 49, but there's other splinters, and I'm on one of the splinters. It's like time stands still. Now, true, some of these places are kind of touristy, but where I'm at right now in Amador City, there's literally not a single um, um, there's no commerce of any kind open right now. And I think they're only on the weekend. There's nothing going on right now other than this hotel. This hotel was built in 1879. This room is just unbelievable. It was a weekday rate, so I got it cheap enough to where I could talk myself into springing for the money. But it's and it's the thing that drove me as a history teacher, which was to imagine myself living in the past. I mean, that's what I got. What I enjoyed about teaching. In fact, people often ask me, like, what is my favorite decade to teach or favorite time period to teach? And I always had the same answer. It's like whatever I was teaching at that moment. If it was in the Revolutionary period, that was my favorite period. If it was the 1840s, which is and 50s, and here in California, that was my favorite period. If it was the 1950s, that was my favorite period. I really, really enjoyed it, and so to stay in this old hotel is really remarkable, and I'm really glad I went ahead and pulled the trigger. Um, okay, so what have I accomplished on that? Oh, the reason why I'm making this, another thing, and the reason why I sprung for the $131, yee, is because this is a turning point. This is the point where instead of like I was always going away from home, now I'm starting tomorrow morning. I'm going to start going back towards South Carolina. So the reason why I got the hotel partially though is my plan was to go to Lake Tahoe, which is beautiful, beautiful, but it's been raining all day, and I thought, screw it, and windy too, and I'll go ahead and just stay here. And then I think I still might paddle Lake Tahoe in the morning, but then I'll still continue home. So I'm in no rush. Probably take me 2 weeks, but this is the turning point. What have I accomplished? There was a couple of things I really needed to do, and one was I had a love of my life that ended a year and a half ago, and I needed to get over it, and I realized on this trip I've mourned it long enough. I don't want to mourn it any longer. I don't want to be a fool for keeping the hope alive, and I'm done. I'm over it, and I can say that with probably 95% assurance. Okay, so that's one thing. That's big. That's really big. Another thing is part of the reason why that ended was because I have this tendency, lifelong tendency, to not be forthright enough. In other words, not be whatever, to kind of hold back telling the full truth because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. So I just kind of, all my life, I haven't been good about it. And so that's part of what made that love affair end. And I'm happy to say that it was funny. It was just like flipping a switch. All of a sudden, I'll tell people whatever. And if it hurts their feelings, I'm sorry. And if it's, and if it's bad news, I'm sorry, but I don't want to hold on to things. I don't want to tiptoe around afraid to upset people. And so those two things, big, really big. And so I really feel like I put those to rest, and that was really the whole purpose of the trip. That of course, and some adventure. Oops, I gotta look. And so what I'm going to do is starting tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up. And the lady told me I'm the only person here tonight. She says, "What time?" I said, "What time is breakfast?" She goes, "You tell me." And I said, 8:30. Okay. And so she's going to fix me breakfast. So that's tomorrow morning at 8:30. But then I'm going to get home or get in my car, drive probably Lake Tahoe. It's about an hour and a half from here. Paddle maybe 2, 3, 4 hours, and then drive out just in the middle of the desert in Nevada and just do some boondocking out there. With no campground of any kind, just off the road. My goal is to not stay at any hotels. I'm sorry. My goal is to stay away from. Maybe I'll stay at a hotel, but probably not. But my goal is to stay off the interstates and on smaller roads. So I'm going to go through northern Nevada, Colorado, and I'm going to be taking my time. I'm going to be, if you know me, I tend to. Like if it took you 2 hours to get someplace, it'd take me 4 hours. And the reason why is I stop, I look at historical monuments, I walk around the small towns, that kind of stuff. So anyway, so it's no rush whatsoever, but probably once I hit Mississippi River, I'll probably start balling the jack and just getting home. So a couple of weeks is what I'm thinking. Anyway, there was one other thing. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at this hotel. So here's my view. I don't know if you can see that, but this little town, there's this road. It's almost like there's no cars on it. There's no one. Here's my room. Let's go out on the street. Oh, whoops. There's a wedding here tonight. I guess I'm not the only guest, but there's a wedding. Anyway, here's the place. Isn't that cool? Okay.